Chat, this is ranking the greatest midfielders of the 21st century. Now, as you guys know, I'm somebody, along with Faisal and SDS, that often have this discussion about where the greatest midfielders of all time rank. And I have an opinion that I don't really view as controversial, but me and Faisal typically disagree a lot about it. It's on Andrea Pirlo's ranking. And does he sit at table 1, table 2, table 3? And it's always just been a conversation just for the fun of it. But now somebody has actually gone and made a midfielder tables tier list. So I think today we're going to go sit through this and kind of run through it, man. What I will say is that there's a few different categories in which I judge midfielders when I kind of look at it. And that's how I will ultimately, by the way, be ranking every single one of these guys. And I think it'll help you guys kind of understand my thought process. Even if you don't disagree with the pick, you can't disagree with the consistency here. The most important things for me, longevity. Longevity matters, right? I think with everything. It's not the most important thing. Like, if your peak is crazy high, but you did it for a few years less than somebody who had a lesser peak, that counts into it as well too. But I think longevity is definitely a big thing. The eye test. On the eye, do you pass it? I think for me, it's a big thing, especially as a midfielder. Performances on the biggest stages. So performances in Europe, in the Champions League, do you tick them? Performances on the international stage. What's your international resume saying? That matters. Your trophy cabinet, what's it saying? That matters. And I would just say, your overall resume, like if I look at you, like even someone who's never watched football, you look at their Wikipedia, does it pass the test? So for me, performances, that's for me what I consider eye test. Longevity, how long you do it. I would say prime level as well too. How good were you at your prime? What you were able to do on the biggest stages, i.e. the Champions League or international. What your trophy cabinet looks like, and just overall your resume. So let's go through it. And it's randomized in terms of the names. So we'll go through each one of these and I'll rank each one of them. The first name up is Thiago Alcantara. Now, let's talk about a few of the things I just named. First of all, first more than anything, Thiago passes the eye test like very few others ever have. On the ball, technical ability, he's one of the best I've ever seen. That's not even an exaggeration here. The guy is gifted beyond belief. He has a pretty impressive trophy cabinet as well, too. A lot of titles for Bayern Munich. He won the Sextuple with Bayern. He didn't win the league with Liverpool, but he won a few cups with Liverpool. Won a few things as more of a fringe player at Barca. Here's where he gets let down, though. His consistency in terms of the injuries that he suffered hurts him. His international resume is pretty poor, actually, for a player of his caliber. Never really did it for Spain. Was never even considered one of their main guys. And you can't even use the Xavi and Iniesta excuse for him, because he was actually part of the generation after them, but still never really made his mark at that level. But I would say the biggest issue for him is really the injuries. He played like, 25 games a season? I think that's like his average per season, 25 to 30. He's missing 10 plus games every single year through injury, and that's unfortunate. That's kind of out of his control, but it counts against him, man. It has to. However, wonderful, wonderful player. I'm going to put him, let's start him at table 4. Let's start him at table 4. We can move if we need to. For now, I'm going to put him at table 4. If we need to adjust, whether we bring him up or bring him down, we'll do so. But I think for the first few ones, middle of the pack, I think that's a good place to start, man. And then, to be fair, it also helps us determine, is this guy better than Thiago? Then we put him above. Is he worse than Thiago? We put him below. Is he around the same level? Then we put him around the same level. But I think this is a good place to start, right? Next up is Xabi Alonso. Now, let's go through a few of them. European pedigree, check. He's won 2 Champions Leagues, Real Madrid and Liverpool. International pedigree, check. A constant in that Spain team that won the World Cup and the Euros, check. Consistency, for me, Alonso, one thing you can count on him, he was just a very reliable player. Very, very reliable. The heart of those Liverpool teams at times with Gerrard. Even though I actually think he got better towards the end of his Liverpool career. I did think at times in the beginning, not so great, but I think especially his last season, 08-09, sitting next to Mascherano, they formed a really, really nice double pivot. Went to Real Madrid. I actually think he was better at Madrid than he was at Liverpool, funnily enough. Went to Bayern. I think he was really, really good too. A real footballing mind. Longevity, he also passes that as well too. Trophy cabinet, he passes that. I think the one thing I could maybe throw at Alonso is peak level. I do think there are midfielders on this list that personally, I just think are flat out better than Xabi Alonso. There's not going to be that many. I'm not saying he's like table 6, but although he passes a lot of stuff, I do think peak level here has to count as well too. And I think there will be a few guys that go above him. Having said that, maybe we put Alonso at table 3. Maybe we put him at table 3 for now, because I do think he's probably above Thiago. Not by probably as much as you think he is, but maybe I put him slightly above Alonso above Thiago for now. Like, who do I think was better at their peak? Who's the better footballer here? I actually might think it's Thiago, funnily enough. However, Alonso was much more of a mainstay. He was part of much more successful squads. I think he was much more reliable and consistent. And for a midfielder, that's probably maybe sometimes more important than having like a crazy high level. So I'll put him I'll put Alonso at table 3 for now. Bernardo Silva. I'm a big Bernardo Silva fan. I think he's been so crucial for Manchester City's teams as they've won league titles. They've made history in the Premier League. Part of that treble-winning team. Doesn't really have the international pedigree. For me, that's the first thing I think of, though, with Bernardo Silva. For Portugal, I've never really thought he's mimicked his club career. But for Manchester City, it's undeniable. I actually think Bernardo Silva in big games is or maybe not the last year or so, but at his peak, Bernardo Silva in big games was one of those guys. Was he better than Thiago? I think for a year or two, he was on Thiago's level. For a year or two. I'm thinking like 21, 22, I think he was really good. I think 18, 19, I think he was really good. But I'm going to put him at table 5 for now. I think he is below Thiago's level overall. I think so. But Bernardo, I see a lot of you guys saying he shouldn't even be on this list. I disagree. I think Bernardo has been so crucial for Manchester City, personally. I'm not hearing the Bernardo respect. But for now, just to kind of figure out this list as we go, I'm going to put him at table 5. Now, next up is one of my favorite players of all time, and that's Michael Ballack. Now, let's go through Ballack's pedigree, right? Big European performances. Look, he never won the competition, the Champions League. And some of you guys are going to say, well, he has no European pedigree. I disagree. I think he definitely does have European pedigree. Did he win the whole thing? No. He lost twice. He lost in 2 finals in like the most heartbreaking fashion, man. There's not much you can do when you're Ballack. You're losing on penalties. You're losing to the Galacticos with Leverkusen. It's tough. Does he have the international pedigree? Again, he never won anything for Germany. But I've told you guys this in the past. Ballack kind of fell in that period where German football was probably at its lowest point in the last 30 years. And yet, in that period, they made a World Cup final. They made a World Cup semifinal. They made a Euro final. And it's not because they had amazing teams. It's not even because they had amazing coaches. But they had 3 guys, I would say, that were consistently carrying them. There was the goalkeeper, Oliver Kahn. There was Miroslav Klose up front. And there was Michael Ballack, who for me was the heart and soul of those Germany teams. The eye test, he passes it with flying colors, man. This guy was dominant, bro. One-man midfield. Wore his heart on his sleeve. For me, he was like the equivalent of Gerrard over in Germany, bro. He was Germany's answer to Steven Gerrard. And maybe even Frank Lampard as well, too, because he had that ability to pop up late in the box and score goals. Eye test, he passes. For me, Ballack is absolutely incredible. I think he's table 3. I'm probably going to put Ballack at table 3, man. I'm that big of a fan of him. I think the trophy, and look, he's won a lot of trophies. He's won trophies with Bayern. He's won trophies with Chelsea. He almost won a treble of Leverkusen. For me, the Champions League and the internet, if his teams were just able to get over the line, Ballack would be remembered, guys, as a table 2 midfielder. He would, because he would have been the driving force for some of the most successful teams in the decade. But that's the shame here, right? Sometimes team success can affect how your legacy is remembered. But I have to say, I think Ballack is table 3 for me. I think he's table 3. I'm going to put him at here. Busquets. Wow. I'm just going to say it. For me, he's table 2. Sergio Busquets, man. This guy, for me, revolutionized the number 6 position, was part of the greatest midfield trio that I have ever seen, man. For me, the greatest midfield trio I've ever seen. Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets. I've never seen anything like that. And look, the Madrid trio has a three-peat. They have league titles. They've won like 4 Champions Leagues together, maybe even 5. And that's not something Busquets ever did. But Busquets, how integral he was to those Spain teams in 2010 and 2012. How integral he was to those Barcelona teams from the start to the finish. The way he influenced the sport, the eye test is unquestionable. The longevity is unquestionable. The trophy cabinet is unquestionable. Some of you guys might be asking, why isn't he table 1? I think the 5 I have ahead of him are just so spectacular and maybe a little inch of a way that Busquets wasn't. It's so close for him, table 1 and table 2. And who knows? I might think about it again, and maybe I might make a decision to make him table 1. But for now, I have him I think he's number 6. I think he's the one guy that's fighting to get into table 1. But I got Busquets at table 2, man. He's unbelievable, honestly. I've had the pleasure of watching Sergio Busquets, and you guys know the old cliche, right? You watch the game, you don't see Busquets. You see Busquets, you don't watch the game. You guys might think it's a little cringe. I've seen Busquets live in person 2 times. I hear it, bro. You keep an eye out on Busquets and the amount of scans that he's doing, the amount of fakes that he's doing. It's just so easy for him, man. He makes the game look so easy, and probably what is the most difficult position on the pitch. A phenomenon. Busquets is table 2 for me. Next up is Michael Carrick. For me, one of the most underrated players I have ever seen in the Premier League. For Man United, consistently was one of the top 3 highest appearances in the team. The heart and soul of that Man United midfield. Has the trophy cabinet. Has the consistency. Does he have the peak level of a lot of these guys? That's probably where he's missing out. I'm going to put Carrick at table 5. For me, he's table 5. I just think international career, he has none, and it's a shame. It is a shame because he should have featured 100 times for England. We always talk about the Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard debate. How would you have got the best out of them? You would have got the best out of them by dropping one of them and putting Michael Carrick at the base and allowing those guys to have the freedom. That's something no England manager ever could manage to do, and it's something for Man United that consistently allowed the likes of Rooney, the likes of Scholes, the likes of Giggs, the likes of Cristiano to have the freedom to do what they did. Unbelievably underrated player, footballing IQ off the charts. I just think these guys, they are probably a level higher than him, man. Honestly, it's the harsh truth. However, I think Carrick is sitting with Bernardo, man. Super important, each for their clubs. Both won the Champions League. Both were constants in Pep and Fergie's teams throughout the years. I think table 5 is fair for the both of them. For now. Next up, and I seen someone in the chat say, keep everything in mind when you do this one. No recency bias. Casemiro. Now, yes, with recency bias, Casemiro would be massively hurt by this if we're just going off the last 2-3 years. However, Casemiro, we can't sniff at this guy, man. This is one of the greatest defensive midfielders of the 21st century. Bar, I would say, Makelele, bar Busquets, maybe Rodri now. You could argue, is he on his level? Casemiro is he's a tier 1 DM of the last 20 years. He's one of the greatest defensive midfielders ever. His value to that Real Madrid team. Let's not forget where that Real Madrid team was before Casemiro was introduced by Zinedine Zidane. Getting thrashed in El Clasico by Barcelona because they were trying to run with James, Modric, and Kroos. Zidane comes in, he said, look, I know what happened last time we let go of Makelele. The team fell apart. I'm not going to make that mistake again. Introduce Casemiro, and the rest is history. For me, Casemiro is table 3. He's table 3 here, man. Shouldn't their lowest point also be considered? Yeah, but let's be real. Busquets is playing at Inter Miami now. Are we going to consider that? Not really. Not really. These guys are coming towards the end of their careers. Ballack went out pretty quietly as well, too. I don't know. I don't really consider the last few years of a player's career. That, for me, doesn't really impact the way I view them. Santi Cazorla, for me, is table 6. Wonderfully gifted footballer. Wonderfully gifted footballer. One of the most two-footed players I've ever seen. Such a technically gifted footballer. So intelligent. Won a few cups of Arsenal. Was probably, I don't even know if he made the bench for some of Spain's international teams. Maybe the Euros, I think he was there. Maybe. But at the end of the day, Santi Cazorla's name just doesn't hold enough weight in world football to be any higher than 6. Let's be real, right? Let's be real. His talent is superb. That's probably what gets him even in the consideration. But he hasn't won enough. He hasn't done enough. I don't think he's been influential enough. The longevity really isn't there either. Doesn't really have any European pedigree. Doesn't have any international pedigree. For me, 6th is there because he's a gifted footballer. He's very, very gifted, but he holds 6th here. Felipe Coutinho. This is another tough one. I think it's similar to Cazorla, even though I have him higher than Cazorla, because I think he's better than Cazorla. But again, as well too, no international pedigree, really. More than Cazorla, to be fair. He played for Brazil. Never really did anything in the Champions League of note. Of actual note. For me, he's table 6, guys. I'm gonna be very real. Again, wonderfully gifted footballer. I also don't think it helps the fact that, and again, I'm not gonna blame it completely on him. They signed Van Dijk and Alisson with the money they got from him. But the way Liverpool kind of built their all-encompassing, dominant Premier League and Champions League winning team off the back of the Felipe Coutinho money. Whereas he went to Barcelona and never regained the form that saw him go for almost a world record fee at the time. Coutinho, for me, is table 6. Yes, he won the Champions League with Bayern, but when I talk about European pedigree, I'm thinking players that actually impacted those teams. Coutinho was 6th man off the bench, man. I'm going to go Coutinho 6, man. Very, very good player, but we're talking about legends here, man. David Silva. Now, David Silva is an absolute baller. And I actually think when you talk about most underrated Premier League players, he's up there for me. Because when we talk about the greatest midfielders in the Prem, right? We talk about De Bruyne, Vieira, Keane, Gerrard, Scholes, Lampard, Yaya Toure. Sometimes we talk about Fabregas. Why isn't David Silva in that conversation? Why can't David Silva be considered one of the top 3 midfielders in Prem history? He's won an ungodly amount of league titles. He's been crucial to almost every single one of them. The eye test he passes. He has an international resume as well too. I think he's in the top 3-4 scorers in Spanish history. Was a huge part of that Euro 2012. Even in Euro 2008, he was a player for them as well too. Dare I say it, David Silva might be table 3. He might be table 3. European pedigree hurts him. That I have to say. I wouldn't say he's far better than Cesc. I wouldn't. If you had to ask me who's better between the two of them, maybe I give the edge to Silva. I don't think far better, but I put David Silva at table 3. Better for Spain, better in the Premier League. Yes, he didn't do it in the Champions League like Thiago did. Fairs. That's a valid point. I'm going to put him at table 3 for now. Like I said, if we have to change, we change. But for now, he goes table 3. Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne is a very interesting one, right? Because he's probably the first midfielder on this entire list that we've read so far whose role is completely different to all of these guys. We've seen controllers, we've seen destroyers, we've seen playmakers. Well, De Bruyne is a playmaker as well too, right? We've seen 8s and 6s for the most part. De Bruyne for me is the first 10 here. He's the first attacking midfielder that we judge off output. So it's different when it comes to a Silva and a De Bruyne. But I do think De Bruyne is above Silva. I think he is above Alonso. I think he's above Ballack too. Dare I say he's above Casemiro, man. I think I'm going to put De Bruyne at table 2. Now, why do I put De Bruyne at table 2? Yeah, Coutinho's an attacking midfielder as well too. Fairs. For me, he's table 2. What's stopping him from, or what puts him in table 2, right? First of all, this guy's numbers are off the chart. And you guys know me. It's not always about numbers for me. But his production is unbelievable. His big game resume for Manchester City is absolutely stupid. He's the greatest Champions League player that they've ever had. Even in the latter years of the Agueros, the David Silvas, the Yaya Toures, De Bruyne was always the guy stepping up for them in Europe. Always. For me, in Europe, he has a crazy resume. Bagged at the Bernabeu, bagged against PSG. Who else has he bagged against? Dortmund, Atletico. He's a big game player, bro, especially in the Premier League. The way he's changed Manchester City, the way he's been an ever-present for most of their league titles, the style in which he does it, the pace at which he can run with the ball. De Bruyne is an absolute freak for me. What keeps him away from table 1? De Bruyne is not in table 1 for me, and I've always said this, and it was part of the reason why I wanted to see him take this Euros by the scruff of the neck. I don't think he's ever had a vintage international campaign in his life. And some might say, well, he plays for Belgium. I've never asked for De Bruyne to win the World Cup or win the Euros, but I've never looked at an international tournament in which I've always thought De Bruyne should be going in as one of the best players at the tournament and came out of it thinking, yeah, that was De Bruyne's tournament. Or wow, De Bruyne was one of the standout players at that tournament. I've never thought it. And I've looked at James Rodriguez for Colombia. He's done it. Forlan for Uruguay. He's done it. Like, you don't have to play for Spain or Italy or Brazil to do so. And I don't think De Bruyne ever managed to really take over an international campaign the way he was able to for Manchester City. I looked at Eden Hazard, his own teammate. I thought the 2018 World Cup, he was the best player at that tournament. De Bruyne, for me, that's the thing that escapes him. You're going to look at table 1. Every single one, for me, ticks off every single box. And for me, De Bruyne just misses that one. So for me, I have him at table 2. But damn, what a player. Daniele De Rossi. I'm going to put De Rossi at table 5. The heart of Roma. Midfield leader. Won the World Cup with Italy. Even scored in the penalty shootout, I believe. Was he part of that Roma team that won the Serie A? He might not have been. Let me find that out. I think that might have been a little ahead of him. No, he did win 2 Supercopas or Coppa Italias, for Roma. But he was a brilliant player. De Rossi was a brilliant player. And I think his name holds a bit more weight than Coutinho and Cazorla, respectively. So I'm going to put De Rossi at table 5. I think that's fair for him. He's probably going to be towards the end of table 5. Great player, but I think there were better. And I think there were probably more important players in European football. Next up, I believe that's Deco. Deco, terrific player. For me, was the best player at a Champions League winning team, and for arguably one of the greatest Champions League stories of all time, that Porto team in 2004. I thought he was the best player on that team. Was a huge player for those Portugal teams that reached finals, semifinals, went to World Cups. Was very, very good for Barcelona. Big part of that 2006 winning team. Deco's a baller, man. Deco's a real baller. I think he's at table 4. I think there are a few that have a bit more than him. I think he's comparable to Thiago. Brilliant technician. Very, very technically gifted. I'll put Deco at table 4. Christian Eriksen. At his best, Eriksen was a baller. And actually, hot take for you guys. I know a lot of Liverpool fans are going to like this. I preferred Eriksen at his best to Coutinho. But I still think he's table 6. I think he's table 6. I'm going to put him here, though. I think Eriksen was a really, really gifted player. But I'm going to put him over Coutinho. I'm going to put him over Cazorla. Really, really good player. Consistent. Goal threat. Creative genius. He's actually in the top 20 most assists in Premier League history. Yeah, I think Eriksen was better than Philippe Coutinho. I think so. Michael Essien. Now, Essien at his peak, I actually think was maybe the best box-to-box midfielder in the world for a year or two. Essien at his best was unreal. But Essien started to suffer some really, really bad injuries. Now, he's not tier 4 for me. He's a very, very good player. He suffered some injuries, I think, from 09 onwards that he just never really recovered from. Because at his best, like last year at Lyon, first year or two at Chelsea, the guy was unbelievable. I think he's either towards the top of 6 or the bottom of 5, man. Maybe I put him at the top of 6 for now. I might move him up as we go. But Essien, at his best, was a freak, man. He was so... he might be bottom of 5, man. Maybe he's bottom of... Let's put him bottom of 5. Because I actually think he was similar level to De Rossi at their best. But maybe De Rossi did it a little longer. De Rossi was part of those Italy teams. This is really where you have to argue longevity, consistency, which I think De Rossi trumps him, or peak. And Essien at his peak, I think, was actually better than De Rossi. It really just depends what you guys like here. We'll put them side by side for now. I think that's fair, right, chat? We'll put them side by side for now. Next up, and you guys know I have a soft spot for this player. Cesc Fabregas. Oh my god. Yeah, man, what a player. He's not in table 2. Not for me. I think he's table 3. I love Fabregas, man. If you guys haven't heard me say it 1,000 times, Fabregas was the first player I ever fell in love watching in terms of just as a kid, watching this guy who was so elegant, so gifted, such a leader in terms of his technique, like technical leader, that's what I call him. I think the trophy cabinet hurts him a little, even though he won 2 Premier Leagues with Chelsea, won the FA Cup with Arsenal, won a league title or 2 won a league title with Barca, won 3 trophies for Spain, but didn't have the impact as a lot of these other guys for Spain, right? Like 2012, he had a big impact. 2010, he has the assist in the final, but he was never like one of the main guys per se. Is his Premier League legacy as good as Silva's? Maybe a little... I'm going to put him for now at the bottom of 3. I think I'm going to put him at the bottom of 3. He might have to come down to 4 though, guys. I can't lie. I'll put him at bottom of 3 for now, just because I think technical ability, how good he was as a midfielder, was unbelievable. Fernandinho. Fernandinho for me is with Carrick. I look at them similar. Both the leaders in that midfield. For the longest, you couldn't take them out without the entire midfield falling apart. I think Fernandinho was extremely underrated. So was Carrick. Yeah, I think Fernandinho goes at 5 for me. Gattuso. Now, let's talk about Gennaro Gattuso. Because I'm guessing I'm going to see a lot of people say 6, 5. Gattuso is one of those guys, right? Yeah, for me, he's not 6. I think 6 is blasphemous. I think 6 is extremely blasphemous. Is he the most technically gifted footballer? No. Is he the easiest on the eye? No. But when you look at Gattuso's consistency, his importance to those Milan and Italy teams, his longevity, his trophy cabinet, his ability to shut down some of the best attacking midfielders in the world, he did his thing, bro. He did his thing. He's not the easiest on the eye, but that's not his game. They used to call him and Pirlo Beauty and the Beast because Pirlo is the beautiful, elegant technician in midfield, the graceful hair. And then you have Gattuso, who, for lack of a better word, is a brute. He's a dog. But he's a huge part of some of the most successful Champions League teams of the 2000s. That Milan team doesn't operate without Gattuso. Pirlo doesn't operate without Gattuso. It's a fact. Just like he couldn't operate without Arturo Vidal. Every beautiful player needs a dog next to them. Modric and Kroos needed Casemiro. Pirlo needed a Gattuso. De Bruyne needs a Rodri. That's how it works, guys. So for me, when I look at Gattuso, I think I'm going to put him at table 4. Just above Fernandinho and Carrick. I put him at table 4. Steven Gerrard. Oof. Oh my God. Guys are saying 1. He's not 1. Let me tell you guys that right now. He's not 1. Is he 2 or 3? That's my question here. In terms of actual player, Gerrard's unbelievable. One of the best I've seen. European pedigree. Gerrard was so good in Europe, bro. Forget about even the one he won. He was so good in Europe. In the Premier League, he's one of the most famous names ever. Like, he never won the league, but was an incredible player in the Premier League. I think he has, if he's not first, he's like second for most PFA player of the years. The trophy logic hurts him, but I'm not going to put him 6 because he never won the Prem. I think I'm going to put him at table 3 for now, chat. I might move him up. Yeah, I might move him up. But for now, I'm going to put Gerrard right here. I'm going to put Gerrard right here for now. Don't shoot me. Stay until the end of the video because there's a good chance he ends up in 2. But for right now, I need to see the names that come out. For now, I'm putting him at 3. Okay? For now. Don't shoot me yet. Don't say blasphemy. For now, we're going to put him at 3. Because I don't think he's too high. He's minimum 3. Because, guys, Gerrard, we can talk about the trophies, we can talk about the slip, but anybody who saw Steven Gerrard knew, bro, this guy was consistently one of the most dominant midfielders both ways. Defensively, going forward, goals, assists, dominance. He was incredible. For now, I'm going to put him at 3. Just because I need to see the names that come up. Gundogan. Oof. Let's put Gundogan at 4. Let's put Gundogan at 4. I was thinking maybe 5. Let's put him at 4. Gundogan's a baller, man. Gundogan's a baller. And he's got the resume. He's done it in the Champions League. He's popped up in huge moments for club. Yeah, on the international stage, Gundogan never really did his thing. I agree. Which might hurt him long term. It might push him down to 5. But I'm looking at that 5 list, and for now, it's kind of getting filled up. So for now, I'm going to put Gundogan at table 4. I can't forget what he did for City, bro. Some of those league campaigns with City were crazy. I don't think Bernardo clears him personally. I think Gundogan was better for City than Bernardo Silva was. For now, I put him at 4. Let's see how it goes. He might move down. This is just provisional for now, chat. Guti, I have to be honest with you, chat. Madrid fans might hate this. I think Guti might be table 6. I think he might. Very, very gifted footballer. A maverick. Had some big moments for Real Madrid. But personally, I was never of the opinion that... I remember recently it was like someone asked on Twitter, Guti or De Bruyne, and I almost spat out my drink. Guti has never been on De Bruyne's level. He's a maverick. He's very, very skillful and crazy flair. But Guti has never been for me, as long as I've been watching football. I never thought as Guti as one of the top 5 midfielders in the world, one of the top 10. Like, no, I just didn't view him like that. Who can I even compare to Guti in today's game? I can't even think of a Guti right now. Paqueta, that's who I was thinking of. Honestly, chat, that's who I was thinking of. But I felt it was disrespectful because Paqueta plays for West Ham, Guti played for Real Madrid. But the question is, would Guti have ever moved to Real Madrid if he wasn't from the academy? No, he wouldn't have. I got Guti at 6. Iniesta, recently retired, is the first inclusion, chat, into table 1. Iniesta's our first table 1. Easy. No need to even justify it. Iniesta is not just table 1. He's in the conversation for number 1. Forget table 1. He might damn near be number 1. Iniesta is everything, man. He's everything. International career. What more do I have to say? Club career. What more do I have to say? The eye test. What more do I have to say? Longevity. What more do I have to say? Trophy cabinet, what more do I have to say? Actual body of work as a player. This is, for me, why I gave you those categories. Every one of my table 1 players has every single thing ticked off. Every single thing. Iniesta has everything, bro. He has everything. I don't have to go too far on that one. Iniesta's table 1, and it's not even close. Isco, what a player. Wow. This guy, in terms of talent, is one of the best of the last 10, 15 years. He is. Isco is unbelievable, man. 5 is disrespectful. Isco is better than Gundogan for me. He's better than Gattuso for me. He's better than Deco for me. He's better than Thiago for me. Isco is table 3. He is. He absolutely is. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We got 2 more spots in table 3. This is getting vacated. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of guys here that are either going up or down. Table 3 has too many people in it. Isco is better than everybody in table 4 for me. He is. He's better than Deco, yes. No disrespect to Deco. Brilliant player. Isco is better than Deco. He's better than Gundogan. Yes. Do you guys not know who Isco is? Oh my God. All this talk about BBC, Bale, Benzema, Ronaldo. Who do you think was playing over Bale in the last 2 Champions League finals? For most of the season, in fact. It was Isco. Isco displaced Gareth Bale in Real Madrid's three-peat winning team. And it wasn't by coincidence. It wasn't by luck. It wasn't by chance. Isco's unreal, man. Technical ability, creativity, playmaking, dribbling. Unbelievable, man. He's better than Thiago. Yes, he is. In fact, they're of the same age group as well, too. They came together in that Spain team that I think it was Italy that they destroyed in the under-21 final. It was Isco who was named Golden Boy, or he won the Copa Trophy in, 2012. Leading Malaga to the quarterfinals as a kid. Going to Real Madrid the next season. Come on, man. You guys are disrespecting Isco here, bro. Ricardo Kaká. Ricardo. I think Ricardo Kaká is the first Ballon d'Or winner that we've gone through. Before this Modric, Lewandowski, Benzema thing, I always called him the last human to win the Ballon d'Or. Because Messi and Ronaldo were from a different planet, and they won it 10 years after. Kaká for me is table 2. Anybody who was at one point named the best player in the world, for a single season is a serious guy. Kaká is easily table 2. What he did for Milan, not even just in 07, by the way, 04, 05, 05, 06, I would even say 03, 04, was arguably the best number 10 on the planet for a few years. His ability to blend physicality, pace, and technique is something that until really we saw in De Bruyne, we never really saw in an attacking midfielder like Kaká, man. The way this guy could run on the ball was absolutely ridiculous, man. Kaká's in table 2 for me. In table 2. N'Golo Kante. Oh, yeah. See, I want to put him in 3 as well. I think I have to put him at 3. How could I not? Again, change the game in his position. N'Golo Kante is table 3, man. Honestly, revolutionized his position. And he didn't revolutionize the 6. Because one of the biggest misconceptions in football was that N'Golo Kante was like Makalele or something like that. He was completely different. He became the first player I ever saw that covered literally every single blade of grass. Honestly, this guy's engine, this guy's work rate, this guy's ability to win the ball back, his ability to carry the ball forward. Stupid N'Golo Kante, man. And then what he did for Leicester, what he did for Chelsea. That Champions League run, by the way, for me, by N'Golo Kante is so underrated. Won the World Cup. Kante, for me, is a clear table 3. Roy Keane. Okay, I'm making my first downgrade. Xabi Alonso's moving down to table 4. Table 3 is getting too peak. Alonso's been downgraded. No disrespect to Alonso, but I'm seeing too many names now. Roy Keane is, for me, now becoming one of the most underrated midfielders ever, bro. People have suddenly gotten this idea that Keane was a hatchet man, some shin kicker. All he did was just passion and vibes. Come on, bro. Roy Keane is one of the most important players in the history of Manchester United. Literally the captain on and off the pitch. He was the manager on and off the pitch. The way this guy was able to just drive Man United from midfield with his performances. Honestly, like for me, that period between, I would say, when he, let's say like 92 to 2003, Keane was the man. He was the man. This is a no-brainer for me. Roy Keane, number 3. Roy Keane, table 3. Every team would kill for Roy Keane, man. Roy Keane is 1,000%. This isn't even a conversation for me. Roy Keane is undoubtedly a better midfielder than Xabi Alonso. And that's not disrespect to Xabi Alonso. Roy Keane is a level above Xabi Alonso for me, man. He's a level above. Leadership hype is crazy. Bizarre LFC, Alonso wasn't even that great for Liverpool until his last year, bro. Honestly. 08-09, Alonso was superb. But let's not act like Alonso before 08-09 in the Premier League was like a top 3 midfielder in the league, bro. Let's be real. Alonso became in those conversations once he went to Real Madrid. Why is Isco above Xavi? Because Isco's a better player than Xabi Alonso. That has to count, man. Come on. Keane is undoubtedly 3. He's undoubtedly 3. You could put Kante above Keane. I don't mind, but he's in 3. Has to be. Toni Kroos. Welcome to table 2, not table 3. Toni Kroos, welcome to table 2. This is a no-brainer for me as well, too. In fact, he probably belongs here. Toni Kroos belongs there, man. Let me say this. I gave you guys all my categories, and Toni Kroos realistically fits every single one of them. Toni Kroos was probably the best player at that 2014 World Cup, or at least the most consistent. At least the most consistent from match day 1 to the final. Unbelievable. The Champions League success is crazy. The importance he has to Real Madrid is only actually being shown now, when he left. You know that expression, you only know a good thing when it's gone. You only know a good thing when it's gone. Real Madrid fans have been fully slapped in the face with that. And this is a club that they've lost Cristiano Ronaldo, they've lost Sergio Ramos, they've lost Iker Casillas, they lost Raul. The influence and the absence of Toni Kroos, I don't know if they felt it with any of those players like they have with Toni Kroos, man. Genuinely look at them this year. The heartbeat, man. He's the heartbeat. I got Kroos at table 2. Frank Lampard, for me, table 3. Look, man. What I'm going to say is kind of hypocritical because I've always been somebody that says Lampard's not really my kind of player. Out of the 3 English players, for me, he's last. I don't want to say the worst, but he's last out of Scholes and Gerrard. I don't think he could control a game like Scholes. I don't think he could dominate a game like Gerrard. And I stand by all of that. But I think now people are acting like Lampard was just some goal hanger or something like that, man. I feel like that's what we kind of got with Lampard now. People are just flat out disrespecting him now. Whatever you think of where he ranks amongst the 3, Lampard revolutionized his position. Bar Michel Platini, and maybe you could even say above Platini, not as a player, but as a goal scorer from midfield. Lampard is arguably the greatest goal scorer. Not arguably. He is the greatest goal scoring midfielder since Michel Platini. So you can talk about dominating games through driving the ball forward. You can talk about controlling a game like Paul Scholes. I don't care what anyone says, because I always hear, oh, Gerrard could do what Scholes and Lampard could do if he played for their team. There isn't a chance Gerrard could score 20 goals a season like Frank Lampard could. And there's no chance Scholes could either. I'm not saying he could do what they did, but they couldn't do what he did in terms of producing output, production from midfield. Lampard's a different level, bro. His finishing, his IQ around the box is otherworldly, bro. In the Champions League as well, too. Lampard has some big moments. I got him at table 3. Claude Makelele. Oh, yeah. We might need to downgrade another player. I didn't say, by the way, Scholes and Gerrard weren't great goal scorers. I said, could they do it year in, year out like Lampard did? Lampard, bro, is like 18 to 20 in his sleep every year. I don't know if they could. I'm going to put Makelele in table 3 for now, but I'm probably going to have to start moving guys soon. Makelele, one of the most important players of the 21st century in terms of just how good he was at his role. How he basically allowed teams to not have to worry defensively because of how good he was. You look at how important he was to the Galactico team. Before he came, when he came, after he came. Real Madrid were never the same after he left, bro. You can afford to have Zidane, Figo, Raul, Morientes, R9. You can afford to have all those guys if you have a Makelele behind them. The minute he left, bro, and you replace him with David Beckham, who, by the way, is no schmuck in his own right, amazing player. The minute he's gone, the whole operation falls apart. And then he joins Chelsea and completely changes that Chelsea team. Mourinho, one of the biggest credits I give him is for introducing the 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 to European football, to the Premier League, playing with one center forward instead of two. He was allowed to do that. Lampard was allowed to do what he did in front of goal because Makelele was always below him, man. Or always behind him. Makelele has to be table 3, man. Without a doubt. Is that Marquisio? Marquisio is also one of my favorite players ever. Respectfully, he's got a whole table 6. Very, very good player. Very, very, very underrated player. But I don't think he's as good as table 5 guys. Mascherano. Mascherano for me is a center back, man. Honestly, yes, he played defensive midfield, but he never did it at an otherworldly level. And for that reason, I'm going to put him at table 6. I don't consider him an elite level defensive midfielder. I consider him an elite center, like a very, very good center back. But he played DM at times. Yes, he did. For Argentina, for Liverpool. Yes, I get that. I'm not trying. Okay, maybe I'm underrating him as a defensive midfielder. He played DM for Liverpool, played DM for times at Argentina, but he's a center back, man. Let's be real. Modric, welcome to tier 1. What more has to be said really about Luka Modric, man? The consistency, the longevity, what he's done for Croatia, the Champions League moments from Luka Modric, man. Oh my God. You look at Real Madrid, that 3-peat, the most recent one, La Decima. Modric has his hands all over every single one of them, bro. And he's the constant in all of them. 1 year, Casemiro and Kroos weren't there. 1 year, Casemiro wasn't there. 1 year, Kroos wasn't there. Modric is different, man. For me, because Mohanad says, I don't know if Kroos is a table down to Modric, man. This is the way I view it. Because I respect Kroos massively. But I've always thought Modric is better than Kroos. I've never in my life, actually bar maybe last season. Last season is the only time in my life I've ever thought Kroos was better than Modric. Ever. So how could I put Kroos at the same level as Modric? Does that kind of make sense? It's difficult because I could say the same thing about Iniesta or like a Busquets. But because the two of them played directly next to each other, I've always thought Modric was better than Kroos. I think he just has the spectacular more than Kroos. Kroos is maybe more of like an ever-present in terms of he's a consistent 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. But Modric has 10 out of 10 moments in him per game that I don't think Kroos has. Like, I just think Modric could change a game with one trivela, with one long ball, with one long shot that maybe Kroos couldn't do with the regularity that Modric could. I hope that makes sense. Ozil. Ah, man. Ozil for quality is table 2. For influence, for longevity, for consistency, it hurts him. Trophy cabinet, he has the World Cup, I get that, but Ozil, did he ever win? He won one league title his entire career. Once he went to Arsenal, I never really thought the consistency was there, although the quality always shown. Is Ozil table 3? In terms of quality, 1,000%. Him or Isco? Ozil was better than Isco. He was better. For me, Ozil was better than Isco. Maybe I move Gundogan down. It might have to be this, chat. I think I'm happy with that. I think I put Ozil... Are you guys cool with putting Ozil at 4? In terms of actual quality, how good you are as a footballer, he's easily table 2. In terms of just natural ability. He's one of the most freakish players I've ever seen in my life. But there's stuff that holds him back from being that high. I think I'm going to put him table 4 for now. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Pirlo. Now this is where my personal opinion comes in. Pirlo sits at table 1. And this is how this whole conversation about tables even started. Because Faisal believes that table 1 is filled with 4 players. Zidane, Iniesta, Xavi, Modric. And I started this whole conversation by saying I think Pirlo sits there. I think Pirlo is the most underrated player of the 21st century. I think so. I've said this soliloquy 1,000 times. This is going to be the 1,001st time. I think Pirlo was the best player at the 2006 World Cup. Although Zidane stole the plaudits, although Cannavaro went home with the award, I thought Pirlo from match day, just like I said, Kroos was probably from match day 1 to the final, the best player at the World Cup. I thought Pirlo similar was in 2006 as well too. The performances he put in for Italy were absolutely sensational, man. In terms of controlling the game, in terms of creating chances, set pieces, like unreal from Andrea Pirlo. You look at his influence for that great AC Milan team, man. He goes under the radar because you have the loudness of Gattuso, you have the class of Seedorf, you have the goals and the speed of Kaká, you have the moments from Inzaghi, you have Maldini in the back. Pirlo is the heart of that team, man. And that's the thing with Pirlo. He's the heart of every single team he ever played for, bro. He's the heart of every single team he played for. For Milan, he was the heart of that team. For Italy, he was the heart of that team. For Juve, the guy won Serie A Player of the Year, 2-3 years in a row? He was the heart of that team, man. Went to Milan and was part of the reason that Milan team started their dynasty. Left Milan as their dynasty ended, went to Juve, started their dynasty. In terms of controlling a game from deep, Pirlo is one of the best to ever do it. In terms of the international campaigns, they rank high, man. That World Cup is crazy. In terms of the Champions League, he's a constant in there for Milan. Eye test, he passes it. Trophy cabinet, it passes it. Bro, Pirlo for me is table 1. Let's not even forget Euro 2012, man. I feel for him, bro. He ran that entire Italy midfield by himself. What was he supposed to do against Xavi and Iniesta and Busquets, bro? And Fabregas and David Silva. What the hell is he supposed to do? Pirlo for me is table 1. It's close between him and Kroos. It is. What Kroos has done, I can't sniff at it. But again, just like Modric, I feel like Pirlo had that extravagance, that match-winning ability, that individualism, just a hair over Kroos. Yes, they can absolutely be used for Busquets and Kroos. This is where it comes down to personnel bias. I have Pirlo an inch above those two, man. I think Pirlo's table 1. Paul Pogba. Oh, man. This is like the Ozil situation, man. Again, in terms of quality, bro. In terms of quality, he might be table 1. In terms of just natural talent. But he can't be table 1. He definitely can't be table 2. I don't think he can be table 3. Is he in table 4? He's not table 6. He's better than all these guys in table 6, bro. I'm sorry. Come on. Pogba is better than every single player in table 6. I think it's 4, man. Because I'm looking at table 4 now. He was better than De Rossi. He was better than Essien. I think he was better than Bernardo Silva. He's better than Carrick. I think he's table 4. Because look, if I'm going to compare him to Thiago, right? They're the same age, basically. They came from the same generation. Thiago has the better club career than Pogba. Pogba undoubtedly has the better international career than Thiago. In terms of talent level, they're pretty similar. And Pogba still won a lot for Juve as well, too. Let's not act like Pogba has no club career whatsoever. I'm going to go Pogba. Again, the consistency, the longevity, the club career, the European pedigree, it's what puts him probably here. Yeah, I'm going to put Pogba in 4, man. Maybe Gundogan might find his way back to table 4. He might. Rakitic is table 5. Rakitic is table 5 for me. Very, very underrated player. Honestly, super underrated. I actually think in 2018 World Cup, Modric gets all the props. Rakitic for me was on his level. I think Rakitic was unbelievable at the 2018 World Cup. So underrated for Barca, even though I think he tailed off towards the end. The Europa Leagues that he won with Sevilla. He's, for me, like the perfect third-man midfielder. Yeah, Rakitic is very, very gifted, man. Riquelme. Oh, I love Riquelme. Natural ability. Again, bro, he'd be table 2. Club career, very successful for Boca Juniors. Very, very successful. I think he won the Copa Libertadores with them. Beat Real Madrid in the Club World Cup final, which for South Americans is massive. Very, very good for Argentina. Flopped at Barca. Doesn't really have that great of a career in Europe, let's be real. For Villarreal, he had some very good years, but I would never say like incredible years. He's not table 3. No. For me, I think I go table 5, man. I think I would go table 5. Like Riquelme, bro, what was it? Copa America, I think it was 2007. The guy was a freak, man. The guy was a freak. I think he is better than the guys in table 6, man. I'll be real. I think he is. I'm gonna go 5 for Riquelme. I think Riquelme is table 5. Ability, he's higher, but I told you guys what my criteria is. Rodri. Oh, wow. I didn't even think of Rodri, chat. I didn't think of Rodri. Rodri's table 3 for me, but now we're in the problem again, too. Yeah, Rodri for me is table 3. Like, high table 3 if you want to put him there. But table 3 now is too big. There's too many guys eating at table 3. We ran out of plates, guys. We didn't make enough dinner for table 3, man. All right, Lotier. There you go. Stevie G is table 2. I think Gerrard on quality, what he did in the Champions League, how good, consistency, longevity. I think table 2. I think table 2 is fine for Gerrard. There might be more people that move up. You never know. Scholes. Chad, I think I'm putting Scholes at table 2, man. I think I am. And I know that's going to be something you guys don't like. I think Scholes is table 2. And I know people aren't going to like that. But Scholes is table 2. Everything that I've just named you guys in terms of my criteria, Scholes fits it. Scholes fits it. Longevity, consistency, value to their team, European pedigree, club pedigree, international careers where he flops massively. The eye test. Scholes is 2 for now, man. Yeah, I said international for me is the one that hurts him. But that's why table 2, they're all missing something for me. Bar, Busquets, and Kroos. They're just unlucky. But De Bruyne doesn't have the international. Kaká doesn't probably have the longevity. And even international, I don't think Kaká was brilliant for Brazil. Gerrard has no international career whatsoever as well, too. And less titles than Scholes. Scholes is 2 for me. Scholes is 2 for me. Scholes is another one. I feel like it's become fashionable to hate on Scholes. Schweinsteiger. Oh, very, very good player. But he's table 4. Schweinsteiger is table 4. Very, very good servant for Germany. Very, very good servant for Bayern Munich. I think in 2014, that World Cup final was one of the most ridiculous one-man performances in midfield I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, Schweinsteiger is a very, very good player, man. I wasn't thinking of top of table 4. Don't read into like the rankings individually. That crazy. Seedorf. Seedorf is 3. Seedorf has to be 3. Yeah, Seedorf has to be 3. He's the most obvious 3 ever. Seedorf is the most obvious 3 ever, which means we got to move another guy up. Let me leave it like this for now, chat. We'll change things up, but Seedorf is 3. We'll change things up. I know 3 now is overfilled, but we'll change things up. Schneider. Schneider's a 5 for me. Schneider's a 5. Doesn't have the longevity, doesn't have the consistency, has some crazy heights with Inter, with the Netherlands in 2010. But Schneider had that career year, and he had a very good Euro 2008. But Schneider, man, is not on the level in terms of longevity, in terms of impact on the game. Like, he had an amazing year and some good years sprinkled around. But I'm not putting him above any of these guys, personally. I don't know if he's bottom. He might... Okay, you can go here, per se. Dare I say it even here. Yaya Toure. Oh, man. I think Yaya's 4. Yaya Toure. I think he's 4, man. Crazy dominant. Honestly. Yaya Toure's peak is absolutely a joke. But he's part of that... Can Silva be 3 and Toure 4? His peak is nuts, bro. His peak is nuts. But I think even City fans would tell you Yaya wasn't the most consistent. Like, Yaya was definitely a moody player. When he wanted to, he could absolutely take over a game. But bar a few seasons where he was ridiculous, wasn't the most... Like, Silva was a more consistent player than Yaya Toure for City. Facts. And did Yaya do it for 10 years in a row? No. Did Yaya do it in the Champions League? Not really. And you could say the Champions League of Barca, bro, he was playing as a center back. But damn it, his consistency, his peak, when he wanted to. Yaya Toure could absolutely take over a game in a snap. Don't forget as well, too, won the African Cup with Ivory Coast. I think their first ever African Cup. So Yaya has got to be very, very high in this. But I think table 4 is probably fair. I think table 4 is fair, man. Honestly, you guys are thinking about it. But look at the names in table 3, Chad. These are the best midfielders of all time. I think he's 4 for now. Van der Vaart is one of my favorite players ever, but he's table 6. He has to be. He's just not on these guys' level, man. He isn't. Like, I love Van der Vaart. Had amazing talent. Personally, he's lucky to be on this list. Genuinely, top 5, 10 favorite players ever. Van der Vaart makes that list for me. But, come on. Didn't have the longevity. For me, he's not a failed wonder kid because he still had a good career. But, genuinely, he might even be last. Like, maybe Mascherano is last because he's not an all-time DM. How many do we have? 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. So, we need 2 names, and Verratti's not one of them. I don't want to put Riquelme there. I'm putting Essien here, man. I think Riquelme's impact on the game is more than Essien. Yeah, Essien is 6, man. Essien didn't do it for long enough, guys. He didn't. Essien, again, at his peak, was one of the best box-to-box midfielders I've seen. But it was realistically 2-3 years, maybe. We got to fill up table 6, man. Essien below Riquelme is crazy work. Not really for me, man. Let's move on. If we need to change, we change. Like, what puts Essien over Christian Eriksen? What? I don't hate Chelsea. Well, I hate Chelsea. Oh, yeah. You have no idea how much I actually rate that Chelsea team of that era, bro. 7 Premier League titles. Brother, 1 played for Spurs, 1 played for Chelsea. So what? Every Chelsea player is above Spurs no matter what. No matter what. Diego Costa goes above Harry Kane. Come on. We need to apply some logic here, man. Eriksen, his impact in the Premier League individually is more than Essien's. Nah, man. Nah. You guys now, it's too much now. Essien's brilliant. Essien is not now all of a sudden one of the top 41 midfielders of the 21st century. Not for me. And if he is, okay, look, hear me out. Could he be on a level par with De Rossi? Could I switch De Rossi for Essien? Yes, I could. It wouldn't be the most ridiculous thing. It also is not the most ridiculous thing that De Rossi is above him. Riquelme versus Essien is not the most ridiculous thing. I don't think anyone in their life thought Essien's better than Riquelme at any point in their careers. Top player, but well, we're gonna act like Essien is like Kante now. Verratti has to be. Verratti's table 5, maybe table 4. He's not 6. Verratti's not 6. That's crazy. The thing is, I think Verratti is genuinely better than every single player on this list. Than on table 5. I think he's better than Riquelme. I think he's better than De Rossi. I think he's better than Rakitic. I think he's better than Schneider. I think Verratti over Essien is the least controversial statement you will ever hear me say in my life. Verratti over Essien is the least controversial thing you'll ever... I'll say it directly to the camera. In an all-time list of midfielders, Marco Verratti sits above Michael Essien, and it's not even a conversation. Come on, bro. What are we talking about here now with Essien, bro? What's your criteria for, bro? I gave you guys my criteria at the beginning of the video. Longevity, consistency, international pedigree, European pedigree, the eye test, trophy cabinet, overall body of work. Verratti trumps him in almost every single category I just gave you. Which one does Essien trump Verratti in? Go ahead, tell me. I'll give you it, to be fair. Essien hits a ball much harder than Verratti does. There you go, that one I'll give you. Come on, bro. Not being a stripper. Oh, come on. Verratti's a stripper. You have no idea, man. You have no idea. Verratti is at the very least equal to Thiago, if not better. That's why I'm considering table 4. I consider him and Thiago fairly equal. Verratti has never scored from 30 yards against Arsenal, though. Fair enough. Yeah. Don't forget, too, bro. You got a Euro. And I actually think... At Euro 2021, I think Verratti was absolutely ridiculous. I know he missed the first 2 games for injury, but when he came back, Verratti was running games for Italy. For me, all the hype that Jorginho gets for that Euro run, I think Verratti was better than him, bro. In fact, I'm surprised they didn't put Jorginho in this list. This is tough, man. This is actually tough. Verratti's easily table 5. It's a question of can I get him in at table 4? That's the one for me. I'm going to put him there for now. Because here's the thing, chat. Table 2 is very empty right now. It's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Table 2 still needs 3 more guys, which means we could fill up with 1. But for the most part, a lot of these table 3 guys might be moving up to table 2, which means a lot of these table 4 guys are going to be moving up to table 3, and so on. So just hear me out on my criteria here. Vidal's table 5 for me. I rank him similar to Rakitic. At his peak, Vidal was crazy. But I rank him similar to Rakitic. I rank him similar to Bernardo, similar to Gundogan. I think Vidal is a good table 5. Vidal is a very, very good table 5. What he did for Chile as well, too, very, very good. Vidal is a top player, man. I really like Arturo Vidal. Vieira. Oh, man. Vieira is easily table 3 minimum. Table 3 minimum. This guy's a beast. Minimum table 3. I might move him to table 2. We'll see. I just want to finish up the list first, and then we get into exact rankings. Fair? Xavi. Yeah, this is just child's play, right? Xavi's table 1. And it's not even really that close. Like I said, just like Iniesta, what's understood doesn't need to be explained. Ran games for over a decade. The consistency is there. The longevity is there. The importance for those Barca and Spain teams are there. Vieira over Lamps, we're going to kill you. Yo, you guys don't know football, man. I'm sorry. Vieira and Lampard are at minimum same level. And then you actually take into account that Vieira was one of the best players for France for years, while Lampard was one of the biggest international crash shots I've ever seen for a top player. You guys don't know who the players you guys are talking about are, man. Honestly. Vieira is an absolute dog, bro. Vieira is special, bro. And in fact, I put them in the same table. I told you guys, don't take into account where they're sitting in that table that much. What's important is the table. I'm not really paying attention that closely. Like some of them, I ordered them. But for the most part, so yeah, Xavi is table 1. That doesn't have to be even explained, man. Zidane is easily table 1. Quite easily. And I left Nedved because I don't really consider him like a central midfielder, but for that case, I might as well take Mascherano out as well, too. I might as well. So, let's now revisit, because there's some tables that need to be switched up. Some things need to be switched up. Table 1 is Zidane, Iniesta, Xavi, Modric, Pirlo. That's my 5. I understand people who put Busquets there. I could even hear people saying Kroos. I don't hate it. But for me, in my opinion, these are the 5 best midfielders I saw in the 21st century. And actually, these 5, I have ordered them. If you want, we can order the rest of it. But for the most part, I was just putting guys in tables. These 5, though, in my opinion, this is probably the 5 I would give. I could hear Xavi over Iniesta. I could. But I think this is the 5. Table 2, we're missing some names here. Because we have Busquets, 6, Kroos 7, De Bruyne 8, Kaká 9, Gerrard 10, Scholes 11. We're missing 12, 13, 14. We're missing 3 names. So this is where we can start moving guys up. And I think the first one I'm going to move up is Vieira. I think it is. Vieira, guys, honestly, right? When we talk about like tall midfielders, but that can also ball, Vieira is one of the best I've ever seen. In terms of just like actually being good at the sport, bro, how do you stop a guy like Patrick Vieira? The guy's 6'4", can literally flick it over your head like a ballerina, run past you like crazy, tackle the shit out of you, shoulder to shoulder, he's barging you over. Defensively, he's a monster. Vieira is one of the most complete midfielders ever. Then you look at what he did for Arsenal, what he did for Juve, what he did for the French national team. That 2006 World Cup, bro, he was unbelievable. He was unbelievable. I think he's table 2, man. When you talk about as well, too, you know how often we say, there's people who say, oh, would he be able to do it in the modern? Vieira in today's game, are you insane? A midfielder that big, that strong, that fast, that technical. Forget about it. Vieira, I got at table 2. I think I honestly have Kante at table 2. I mean, hear me out, guys. The only thing N'Golo Kante really is missing is, and I even say longevity. Yeah, longevity, right? Because 2015 is where we first saw N'Golo Kante. And he gave us like 2015 all the way to, I would say, 21. I would say 2015 to 21. 6 years. But that 6-year spell, bro, it's in the Hall of Fame. It's in the Hall of Fame, man. World Cup, excuse me. Champions League for Chelsea. I think he was Chelsea's best player in that run. The Premier League with Leicester. Player of the year the next year and the Premier League with Chelsea, even though I think Hazard should have won it. The influence on his position. His influence game by game by game. I think Kante is at table 2. So who are we missing? I think the final one has to be Casemiro, chat. I think it has to be Casemiro. I think he's just too influential to those Real Madrid teams. Yeah, you guys don't like it. I think Casemiro's table 2, man. This recency tax is killing Casemiro, man. Casemiro is washed right now. Do you know where Lampard was after he left Chelsea? When he went to Man City and then New York City FC. It happens, bro. Players fall off. Do you know where Vieira was when he joined Inter Milan? The guy was washed. When he went to Man City after, he was washed. Players don't play from best to the start of their career to the end at the worst, at the same level, bro. I think Casemiro's table 2, man. I think it's very difficult not to put him on here, man. He's so important to that Real Madrid team, man. Everybody acts like that Real Madrid 3-peat. Anybody could have done it. But they don't actually look at the direct events that caused the 3-peat. Zidane taking over. Zidane directly implementing Casemiro in that team. Creating the most dominant midfield post Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, and Casemiro, Kroos, Modric. Yeah, bro, Lampard is Premier League, man. Lampard is unbelievable. But the football exists outside of the Premier League. What Casemiro did in Spain, what he did in Europe. His legacy with Brazil is better than what it is for England. Let's be real. I think Casemiro's name in the history of football weighs more than these guys, man. So that's my take. So I got Busquets 6, Kroos 7, De Bruyne 8, Kaká 9, Gerrard 10, Scholes 11, Vieira 12, Kante 13, Casemiro 14. I then have Lampard here. I think I have Keane here. Oh, I think I have Ballack here. I have Silva here. I have Rodri here. I have Seedorf here. I have Makelele here. I have Fabregas here. I think that's how I got it. I love Cesc. It's not a question about talent for Cesc. It's like, you guys, I gave you guys a body of, I gave you guys like a criteria. Missing one. I'm missing one more player. Between Ozil, Isco, Alonso, Yaya, Thiago, Deco, Pogba, Gattuso, Schweinsteiger, Verratti. I'm going to give it to Ozil. Your arguments for Isco make a better case than Ozil. Yeah, they probably do. When I think of my criteria, it's making me reconsider. Let's be real. I'm gonna change something in table 3. What does Isco do? No, Isco, chat. I accidentally brought Isco here. Hold on. He's here. Sorry. I think Lampard goes here. I think Keane goes here. I think Silva goes here. I think Makelele is over Seedorf. I think Makelele was better than Seedorf. I do. I know Seedorf won a lot, but I think Makelele was a better player. This is so tough, chat. Honestly, this is so tough. I don't think Silva was that much better than Fabregas now that I think about it. This is where it's really difficult to compare a player like Fabregas to Makelele, man. How do you do it? How the hell do you do it? Ballack was unbelievable, but I think a few of these guys trump him in some regards, man. I think they do. I think I prefer Rodri to Makelele. I'm going to keep it like this. I think this is good. Table 4. How do I rank table 4? Jesus Christ, man. Table 4 is so difficult to judge. For me, Verratti and Thiago, I don't know where I'm going to place them in table 4. Hear me out. I'm not saying they're going to go here. They sit right next to each other for me. So even if I put them here, it's like they're 1A, 1B, like, or they're A and B. They sit next to each other for me. But I do think both of them were better than Schweinsteiger. I do think so. I don't think Schweinsteiger ever hit the individual levels that those guys did. Why can't I post Rodri over Seedorf? Because Seedorf won more. I don't think you guys understand how I'm rating players here. Like, there's criteria, yes, but it also has to come down to how much I value them. I think Rodri was more important to his teams than Seedorf was. Seedorf was a brilliant player, but Seedorf was arguably the third most important midfielder in that four-man Milan midfield. Seedorf was outrageous. Are we saying Rodri's not outrageous now? This is so hard, bro. Oh, man. Pogba, Verratti, Thiago, man. Fuck's sake, bro. Yeah, Isco is going to be around them as well, too. These three are all the same gen of, like, mid-90s wonder kids that never really reached their full potential, but still reached pretty good levels. I do think Isco maximized his talent more than these other three. I think he did. I think he hit higher peaks. Gattuso is below them as well, too. I probably put it like this. Like, you guys are going to think, why is Deco over Isco, for example? Like, you guys are, I really think Isco right now is getting crazy underrated now. Yeah, I think Isco is the one getting killed the most by this chat right now. Yeah, like, Deco, honestly, is name over Isco. Like, what has Deco achieved more than Isco has? Nothing, really. For me, it's between Pogba, Thiago, and Verratti. How am I ranking those guys? For me, bro, I don't care. I'm putting Isco over yeah. I am. Pogba, Thiago, Verratti. I think those three could go any order, to be honest with you, man. I think that those three could go any order. Wasn't Isco a sub and injury-ridden most of his time at Madrid, or am I tripping? You are tripping. Isco was not a sub most of his time at Real Madrid. Isco had years where he was starting for Real Madrid. The last 2 years of the three-peat, it was Isco starting. I'd put Pogba higher because of the World Cup. I hear it. I'll leave it like this. I'll put Pogba, Thiago, Verratti. I'll put it like this. Deco, though, I don't know what he does to go over these guys. I'll be real. Maybe like this. This is how I'm going to go. Pogba, Thiago, Deco. What? I got it like that, man. I think I got it like that. That's my table 4 right here. Can I please explain why I rate Verratti so much? I think he's amongst probably the top 10 in this entire list in terms of ability to control an entire game from midfield by himself. Individual quality, the guy is incredible. Consistency, I think he's minimum 7 out of 10 most games. Potential to go even higher. The Euro 2021 speaks for itself. I thought he was arguably, bar Pogba, maybe the best midfielder at that entire tournament. Just a wonderful player, bro. I'm a secret Madrid fan. That's so funny because some people tell me I'm a Madrid hater. I just think Isco is becoming now really underrated. I think there's crazy Premier League bias in this chat. I'll be so real, chat. Can we switch Gattuso and Gundogan? I think that's, out of these two, that's the one I would consider. Between Gattuso and Gundogan. I don't think he clears him, but I do think I'm going to put Gattuso over Gundogan. I think I'm going to put Gundogan over Gattuso. I think that's a list I can get behind. Yeah, I think that's a list I can get behind. I'm still unsure about table 4. For those of you guys that made it this far, table 4 is really spinning my head. Honestly, this is really difficult for me. I think also, no matter where, to even be ranked in a top 50 list for 2.5 generations of midfielders is an insane level shown. Definitely. Like, you guys have to understand, right? People are outraged because their favorite players aren't where they want to be. All these guys are great. Oh, bar table 6. I'll be real. Table 6 and some of table 5. I don't know if I'd call you all-time great midfielders, but bro, table 4 is ridiculous, man. These are all great players. Like, even Gundogan, I'm happy with it. If I keep going back, Cazorla for me is table 6. Maybe you could, Cazorla is pretty easily table 6. That one I feel pretty comfortable about. Let's leave it like that, chat. I think I'm happy with this. This is my list. Zidane, Iniesta, Xavi, Modric, Pirlo, Busquets, Kroos, De Bruyne, Kaká, Gerrard, Scholes, Vieira, Kante, Casemiro, Lampard, Keane, David Silva, Rodri, Makalele, Ballack, Seedorf, Fabregas, and Ozil, Alonso, Isco, Yaya, Pogba, Thiago, Deco, Verratti, Schweinsteiger, Gundogan. I'll probably change this in an hour in my head. Gattuso, Fernandinho, Carrick, Silva, Vidal, Schneider, Rakitic, De Rossi, Riquelme, and then Essien, Marquisio, Guti, Eriksen, Coutinho, Cazorla, and Van der Vaart. If you guys are wondering why I left these two out, I just consider this guy as more of a center back at his best, and Nedved, I consider him more as a wide player. But that's my list, guys. Let me know what you guys think about that. I'm sure there's going to be crazy controversy, and my chat is not vibing with this whatsoever at all. But I actually don't think it's the worst list overall, guys. I'll be real. You guys might disagree with 1 or 2 rankings in specific. Maybe your favorite player is a tier 2 low, but I actually think this is a pretty good list.